Welcome back to the Change Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Dwight Gillespie. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends by all means. If there's something in here that you really like or that helps you, please share it with your friends. Let them know that we're here. We do this weekly podcast, and I will tell you today is a topic near and dear to my heart. The topic today is, you may not be sick, you may just be stupid. Yes, it's a good topic. People hate the word stupid. Anyway, sometimes it just fits. And I had a friend, and he's telling me, he wasn't even a friend, he was an acquaintance. And he a big dude, very big. And I always say body by Attica. You know, he did a lot of time and he worked out in the yard a lot. He got very big, whereas I did not, Anyway, he's telling me one day, he's like, yeah, man, I do some really crazy stuff, man. I'm crazy. And I remember saying that. I said, what makes you think it's crazy? Yeah, oh, it's crazy, dude. I do crazy stuff. And I said, you're not crazy. You're stupid. I'm like, crazy people don't know that what they're doing is crazy. I mean, let's face it. If somebody tells you, that the sky is green and the grass is blue, unless you're in Kentucky where blue grass rules, they're nuts. Like, if people really believe that, these are not people that you're going to argue with. Like, I did stints on psych wards, and one of the great benefits about doing a stint on a psych ward is you get to see crazy up close and personal. And it'll make you feel good about yourself in a way, because you say, I'm not that crazy. I'm not them. And I met people like that. I met people who were genuinely sick. And that goes to the point, like, if you're doing these crazy things and you know that they're crazy, there's something wrong with them, that's not crazy. That's just stupid, But it comes into another thing too, and there's something even bigger than that, because that's I kid around, and that's one of the points of kidding, But I don't know how many people I know, and there's quite a few, who shop for a diagnosis. They want a diagnosis. I know a lot of people who would rather go from shrink to shrink to shrink and find out what their mental illness is, as opposed to just having to stop doing stupid stuff and start doing some serious work on themselves. Because here's the thing, and I'm not against mental illness. Look, I've suffered from enough mental illness, and trust me, I have a lot of it in my family. My father committed suicide. My mother was a bit insane, narcissistic, and self-involved, we'll say. And I have enough of this in my family. I've seen enough of it up close and personal to know that there are bona fide mental illnesses. I'm going to tell you something, though, and this is one of the things also that I gleaned from my stints on psych wards and dealing with the recovery community for so many years and everything. One of the things that I'm going to tell you is that even if your doctor tells you, look, you really are bipolar, you really are manic. I mean, my dad was a classic manic. He would be up for days reading books. We'd take drives, and your mother says we can't see all 6 New England states and make it home in one day. Get in the car, and it's like, and we would, and we'd go. And you can, by the way, from New Jersey, make all 6 New England states and make it home in 24 hours. You can also, by the way, make it all the way to the Georgia state line, bang a U-turn and come straight back up the coast. You could do that in 24 hours too. My father proved it, and he did that for us in the late 60s, early 70s. We took those trips. My father took his life in 1981. So, all of that stuff was done before that. Anyway, so I understand mental illness, and I understand these things. But even with the diagnosis, and I'm going to tell you something, because I've had diagnoses. I don't right now, and I'm not opposed to it. So see your doctor. Don't ever take anybody's advice on this stuff. I can tell you what happened with me. I was on a litany of medications for my bipolar disorder, which, by the way, my general practitioner disagreed with. He says, I've seen you down, I've never seen you up, like that manic state, that up state, But anyway, I was taking lithium, Abilify, Prozac, Trazodone, Seroquel. I took all of that every day, a big handful of pills, and they were making me like a zombie, and I quit them cold turkey, which I never, don't ever do that. And I remember seeing my general practitioner who used to write the scripts. Anyway, it's a long story. But he said, you're not renewing these. He said, you didn't just stop taking them, did you? And I said, yeah. I said, what's the difference? I said, I already want to kill myself. I mean, what am I extra going to want to do it? And he's like, yes. And sure enough, he was right. I got to admit, the man, I guess they gave him that medical degree for a reason. And, I say the medical degree I don't have, that isn't worth the paper it's not printed on. So this is, the whole thing behind it, though, is even if you have these bona fide problems, right, and you're taking medication as prescribed, and again, not a doctor, not recommending one way or another what you do. See all the professionals for any kind of advice on that stuff. But what I'm saying is you're probably going to want to do a lot of work anyway. That there's a lot of self-help effort that comes in realization and in taking accountability for your life and things like that. That you can still make these stupid mistakes. And I look at them, getting better is not a matter of just taking a pill. And I think that a lot of people today want it to be that. I know people that have been in the recovery areas for many years, and instead of doing these things, like this stuff can be hard. We have what are called the 12 steps, let's say. And you can do work in a lot of support groups. There are tons of adult children of alcoholics are out there. For people who grew up in traumatic childhoods. Seeing a professional therapist and doing the work that's required through professional therapy, things like that. Like these are always good avenues to pursue, even if you have a diagnosis, that it doesn't preclude these things. And I know a lot of people that really want it to. I'm taking my Prozac, I'm taking my Zoloft. Well, what else are you doing? What are you doing to better your mental health? And mental health is a lot like physical health. It doesn't get better just because you want it to, just because you take a pill. If taking a pill would make people slim, trust me, I'd be about 130 pounds right now. I tried every diet pill out there before I got into recovery. None of them. The only thing that worked was working on this, was doing something to better my health. And mental health is no different, as much as you may want it to be. If you're one of those people, right, who thinks it's a good idea, right, to move in with the heroin addict who doesn't have a job, but Mom, I love him. Mom, I love him. You're not crazy. You're stupid, because you know what this is going to happen. The same thing that happened the last time you did it, right? You met him, you've known him for a month and a half, and just nobody understands him. And it's not his fault he does drugs. His mother doesn't love him enough. You don't understand. He had such a tough life. That's stupidity, right? That's stupidity. That's not mental health on your part. The idea, the fantasies that we create for ourselves getting into these situations, right? Those aren't mental health issues. Those are issues that you know what's going to happen. To see it through and to start seeing all of these things through. And again, all of these things can be dealt with proper therapy, right? With properly taking care of yourself, with noticing these patterns in your life and endeavoring not to repeat them, because it doesn't make you crazy. It really doesn't. It means you make poor decisions. And when you can accept that you make poor decisions, you can start making better decisions, because you can start asking people for advice. And this was a podcast that we had just done, right? What was the other, about your self-will and how your self-will may want you dead like mine does. But anyway, this is the idea, is to work on yourself and to try to get better every day, and to seek professional advice, and seek advice of people who've come before you. Seek the advice of people who've been in these horrible relationships and tell you how to avoid them, what to look for. And let me tell you, I don't care who it is. If the guy tells you he's got 4 kids by 3 different women, and he's not paying child support, and he doesn't really have an alcohol problem, people just misunderstand him, and and he's just between jobs all the time, and every single boss he's ever had was an asshole, it wasn't really him. Trust me, it was him. And you know better than to get involved with this. And something else is kicking in. Something else is telling you this. Your self-esteem, it maybe is crushed. Maybe you have issues stemming from your childhood. But until you deal with these things, you're going to continue to make these bad decisions. But I'm telling you that taking a pill in most cases is not going to solve those particular kinds of problems. They may help you along the way, but you're going to have to do some real work on yourself. You're going to have to really delve into, the psyche behind making these decisions. You're going to have to seek professional counsel. I hope I was able to say something that somebody could latch onto today. My name is Dwight. I'm here. This is Change Your Life Podcast. Again, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. You can reach me at dwightgillespieauthor.com. You can buy my book called Price Tags. It's at amazon.com. It's also at barnesandnoble.com. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Be well. Bye now.